All right, Mr. Denver, now that we've wrapped up with the inspection, I'd like to show you a presentation that our homeowners find really informative, so you understand exactly what's causing the issue. Would that be okay? Awesome. All right, so we're going to go pre-construction and foundation type, right? So you have what they call a cinder block foundation or CMU foundation, and it's built like this. So the first step is they excavate a big hole in the ground. Then they pour what we call a footing. And in your case, your home was built in the 50s. They liked cinder block back then, or CMU. So they stacked the blocks on top of that footing. Then from there, your concrete slab or floor was poured up to the foundation wall. After the foundation was set, loose backfill was set in place. Or backfill, I should say, was set in place, which is a lot more loose than compacted virgin soil that's never been disturbed. Around our foundations, anywhere from 4 to 6 feet, that can vary. You could even extend a little further. We have what we call the active wedge, which is unstable soil. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. So as you can imagine, all that soil is around your foundation, and soil weighs thousands of pounds. So even though when you look outside you see dirt, it's actually an area that's really loose, drying and shrinking of the soils. That soil's loose, and actually when it rains heavily or in conjunction with the snow melt, we have water actually pool around the foundation. Picture almost like a moat. So you have a big hole in the ground, a structure in that hole, and now an avenue for water to just pool up and around the foundation wall. And you know how heavy a gallon of milk is, just a little bit over 8 pounds. So when you have water pooling against your foundation, it's called hydrostatic pressure or water pressure, and that's pushing against the foundation. Believe it or not, it's going to push against the foundation versus against that virgin soil that's never been dug. And then lastly, being in New Hampshire, we have our frost line. So, we have water content in the loose backfill, and then it got really cold over the last few months, and we have that frost. And when water freezes, it actually expands by 9%, which is pretty significant. So from there we have stage. Does that all make sense to you? Okay, perfect. So we have different stages of wall failure. So we're going to go through these. Awesome. So your first stage, or we call it stage 1 wall failure, you have a horizontal crack. So that's where it looks like the mortar may have chipped out, but it's actually cracked because the foundation wall has moved. Your next level is stage 2 stair-step cracks. So stage 2 is indicating more movement and more shifting. The next stage is stage 3, which is tipping or shearing. So tipping is at the top where the wall actually starts to come in, and shearing is at the bottom where the wall also starts to can come in. And then lastly, which you're obviously not there yet, is stage 4 wall failure. Now I'm not showing that to scare you, but I just need to go through the 4 stages because ultimately that is the end stage. Now, let me ask you this, Mr. Denver. What stage do you feel as though you are at? Fair, yeah. I don't disagree with you. All right, so I'd like to go over the options of repair so you can see exactly how we can help you. So first, I'd like to go over just historic options for repair, so you can understand, different technologies out there. So your first option is to do nothing. Yeah, no, I don't know why anyone would do nothing. Your next option is to do it yourself. Now, let me ask you this. Based off of everything I've just explained to you, and the weight of water up against a foundation, the weight of soil up against the foundation, how strong soil is, if you do this yourself, what materials are you going to be using on your foundation wall? 2x4s? So yeah, let's really think about this. Do you think 2x4s would truly hold all that weight back? You're right, absolutely not. Your next option is what we call foundation replacement. This is a more expensive option. This is what a general contractor would typically recommend. It's a very expensive option. It's going to damage all the landscape outside. It damages the interior of your home. So I know that you were talking about potentially salvaging the painting that was on the floor. Unfortunately, that slab does have to come out for this type of repair. And it can even cause damages on the first floor. And the other part to that is it's not going to address the unstable soil. I know, right? Why would anyone do that? It could happen again. I agree. All right. So lastly, I'd like to go through the solution that Groundworks has to offer for you. I'm going to start with this video that our engineer has put together. The great thing about that is that he explains it in a much more in-depth level than me. He spent a lot of time in college, and I haven't, but he can explain it on a much higher level. Yeah, that video is great. I love how the gentleman explains this. So this is the actual wall anchor that we would be using in your case. So with wall anchors, we're going to drill a small hole into the foundation. We're going to come off each corner of the wall by 2 feet and spaced by 5 feet. That's based off of engineer specifications. We'll drill the small hole and send rods into the earth. And we're going to get right past that active zone into the virgin soil. From there, outside, we are going to make a small hole, call it a pocket, so that we can put the bracket on. And then also on the inside, we're going to put the bracket on. So this is going to show you exactly how we go through the process. So first, we're going to measure, we've already measured it out and spaced for engineering specifications. That's why I was putting that blue tape on while we were down there. The next step is we're going to drill, like I said, the 1-inch holes into the foundation. And then once we've created the pockets, now we have the galvanized rods driven into the earth, again, right into that stable soil. This is showing the earth anchor plate, and then on the inside, your wall plate. Lastly, we're going to tighten that. We can bring a wall together, or at least attempt to. Obviously our primary focus here is to stabilize. I will say this, if we are going to attempt to move the wall, we do have to excavate outside, and code dictates, if I dig down 6 feet, I have to dig out 6 feet. Of course I can spec that out. It does cost a bit more. And I just want you to be aware that, the stamped patio that you have, that does have to be, okay, we're not removing stamped patios. Got it. So, can you understand how this would work and help in stabilizing? Yeah, yep, okay. So let's put together the quote, and we can go ahead and get you on the schedule. Awesome. Thank you.